I'd like to welcome Dr. Sasha Blaskovich from Langley, BC, who's a board-certified chiropractor. And Dr. B, I understand you're referred to as Dr. B. Could you
Yes,
start with an introduction as to how you got into this work and your intention to assist afflicted patients?
sure, absolutely. I initially got into being wanting to be a chiropractor because of a hip issue that I had, but then once in chiropractic already, I realized that I had sustained an injury playing football in university that was misdiagnosed as a concussion, and because none of the normal treatments, which are not very effective generally, were helping me either. And so that set me down a path of trying to figure out what was wrong with me, and led me to the end point where I discovered that what I've been telling my doctors all along, which is it felt like my head was not connected to my neck, was in fact true to an extent. And I discovered something that would be basically termed motion X-ray that was able to assess my neck in the different ranges of motion, so forward, backward, side to side, and rotation, and be able to visualize in real time the amount of movement between each of the separate vertebrae as they relate to each other, only to find out that my top two vertebrae were beyond excessively moving relative to each other. And so that started me down another path of trying to figure out, well, what does that affect inside the body to give me these horrendous symptoms that would, fluctuate and come and go, that would take me from being a perfectly functional human being to completely bedridden and debilitated. And so that kind of brought me to fast forward where we are now. It's a whole world of uh, patients like myself in different degrees of severity from all over the world, that are displaying very similar symptom patterns and very similar pathologies, that are dealing with a very similar cascade of events, and also very few physicians and clinicians that are able to recognize this, because it is so vague, and most people, if not all people, or at least close to all people, look very normal as far as their exterior, but yet their interior function is extremely affected. And it's not always extremely affected, which also makes it another, difficult case for most physicians, because they expect if an arm's cut off, an arm's cut off, and it's always going to be cut off, so they can always see it. Versus, sometimes the arm is there, sometimes the arm is not there, and that makes it really difficult. But I would say that more and more as time goes on, I'm beyond surprised as to how frequent this problem occurs in different degrees of severity in all walks of life, in all areas of the world. It's far more common than I would have ever imagined.